Hare Krishna, friends. Hope you all are doing good. Feeling great to see many of you again joining us for this Sunday evening session. We have today with us. We have today with us Abhishek, Abhi, Naveen, Priyanka, Rajesh, Santosh, Satyam, and Satyendra. We heartily welcome all of you for this Sunday evening session. And we have been now joined by Samarth Krishna Prabhu. So he'll be taking today the session on topic the philosophy of foolish shoppers. Seems so interesting. Let's see what's coming next. I'll hand over now to Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Dear Paras, am I audible?
Yes, Prabhuji, you are audible.
Okay. Thank you very much. So let's begin with some short prayers. Om Ajnanatimidandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namaum Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhudale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nidinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayade Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kant Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanscha Galpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vaevacha Patidanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nitya Nanda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So very hearty welcome to everybody for our Sunday evening program. And today we will be discussing on a very special topic. As Paras told you, the philosophy of the foolish offers. In fact, somebody hearing this topic for the first time may think that something is wrong in this topic because it should be the philosophy of the philosophers. Is it not? Because the philosophers are the people who give philosophy. But it is not the philosophy of the philosophers, it is the philosophy of the foolish offers. Because in today's day and age, any Tom, Dick, and Harry can give a philosophy of life. Sometimes after a dinner in a restaurant, you may go to eat pan in a pan wala shop, in a pan corner. And that pan wala also, while making the pan, he may also speak some philosophy of life. Is it not? So, in today's world, it's not a very big deal to become a philosopher. Anybody keeps becoming philosopher. But such philosophy given by anybody without reference to a bona fide authoritative chain of knowledge is called as the philosophy of the foolish offers. So let me test you how great philosophers all of you are by giving me case studies. I don't know anybody of you from management background. I was a management student in Symbiosis, so I liked case studies a lot. It's much more easier to study through case studies. So let me put a case study in front of you and see what's your thought about it. Okay, so once upon a time, it so happens that there was a lady, not too old, but yeah, comparatively something around in his 50s or 55. And she was little quite poor also. She used to live in a simple hut, thatched hut, and there was nobody else in his house to take care of her. She was living alone. And because she was living in a very remote area, somewhere near in the forest, near a lake, and every day she has to go to the nearby forest to collect some wood to, cook her food. People in the villages use firewood. So she used to travel good amount of distance every day, collect good amount of firewood, and then load it on her shoulders, and then she has to walk all the way to her home. And it was a very arduous task for her every day. She has to carry big amount of log of wood. So once it so happened that the king of the country, somehow or other, he happened to go on the same route from where this woman was coming with the log of wood on her shoulders. And the king, because he was a king, he was coming in a chariot. He has his servants also. So as soon as the king saw this lady, the king felt little pity. So the king asked, my dear mother, in the Vedic times, people used to address women as mothers. So, my dear mother, is there something I can do to help you? So that lady told, oh, thank you very much. I was really looking for some help. I'm carrying this firewood every day from forest to my home. And since a long distance, I'm carrying this firewood on my right shoulder. So if you don't mind, kindly can you can you take off this firewood from my right shoulder and keep it on my left shoulder, because my right shoulder is paining very much. So I'll be very grateful. So the king started thinking, is that all? Anyways, first the king did that. He took the load of the firewood from this shoulder and kept on this shoulder. And then the king asked, my dear mother, is there anything else I can do for you? By the way, I am the king of the country. And the lady told, no, thank you very much. Now I'm very relieved. This shoulder was paining very much. Now you're kept on this shoulder. So I'm very thankful to you. And then the lady went, she kept on walking to her place. Now, in this story, suppose if you are on the place of that uh, lady who was carrying the firewood, what you would have asked from the king? In case you were there. Do you think that what the lady asked was good enough and it was very intelligent from her side? Or you feel that something more she could have asked? So suppose if you would have been there in place of that lady, what you would have asked from her, from the king? Yes, you can either open your mic and answer, or you can write on the chat. I hope the question is clear. Yes, anybody? Okay, we have got some answer here. I think I would have asked to carry the load to my house. Okay, fine. Priyanka is saying that she would like to ask for carrying the load to the house. Anybody else have any more thoughts on that? Please answer, because we want to keep the session very interactive, because uh, when you answer, then you can understand how much you are understanding what I'm trying to say. So please answer. We have got only one answer till now. We are looking for some more answers. What you would have asked in case you were there on the place of that lady, knowing that you are asking from the king of the country. Acha, we have got one more answer. Okay, yeah. So you would have told, thank you. Can you please help me? Carry the Lord, God will bless you. Okay. So same answer as above. Swati is saying that she would have also asked for carrying the load to the home. Okay, fine. Anybody else have any different answer from these two answers? The two answers are the same. Anything else you could think of? You have to little bit tax your head. You know, any last answer, one answer at least? No answers? Okay, no. We have got some more answers. Apparently, there is something that can solve this problem. Okay. As you are looking, can you help me by providing guest so I don't have to carry the load every day? Okay, now we are getting a little more deeper insights. Thank you. See, good answers. The question is about the lady. So, from our whole group, two ladies are answering the questions. I'm very surprised that no boy is answering any question. Hmm? Anyways, yeah, so that's the point. Okay, now Abhi has answered. Can I get some job in your palace? Okay. In that vessel case, and all kind of facility. I want all kind of facilities. Okay, good, good. Now you are coming up with answers. I'll get all kind of facilities. Yeah, correct. Very good. So you see, when I gave some time, you could all think a little more deeper and could come up with some more better answers. Is it not? So this goes to show one very important thing, that understanding spiritual principles require a little more contemplative intelligence. This contemplative intelligence is called pragya. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells pragya. This word pragya Krishna use to tell about contemplative intelligence. Tasya pragya pratishtita. So such a contemplative intelligence is required to see things from a deeper level, which means what? When I ask this question, the immediate response from some of you, or you might have not responded, or the thing might be going on mind that, okay, help me, instead of keeping load from the shoulder to shoulder, take my load and my house. So initially, this is the only response which comes to our mind, that some other the king can keep my load. Maybe he has a chariot also, he can keep from here to my home. But then you little bit more think deeply, then you will think that, are he is the king of the country. Why should I, ask him for such a petty thing? Just to keep my load from this shoulder to this shoulder. This is so utter foolishness. Little more intelligence is to keep the load from here to home. But that is also not very intelligent, because today the king may keep the load from your shoulder to your home, but tomorrow what will happen? Tomorrow again you have to carry the load. So as some of you answered that you will try to look for a permanent solution from the king. And in your permanent solutions, you gave some answers like, arrange a gas stove for me, or provide me a job with all the facilities in your palace. Correct? So this goes to show that, human intelligence looks for a permanent solution to the problems of life. Correct? And if we are not looking for permanent solutions to the problems, this means we are less intelligent. Is it not? Now, this story which we discussed has a very deep significance in our life. You see, friends, we have discussed in our previous session about 4 real problems of life: birth, old age, disease, and death. We have discussed about threefold miseries. Misery is caused by nature, misery is caused by our own body and mind, and misery is caused by other living entities. Adi Bhautik, Adi Devik, and Adi Atmik Kleshas. So everybody in this world, without exception, is suffering from these kind of problems: birth, old age, disease, and death, and threefold miseries. So now, when we go to God, or when we approach God, or when we try to learn spirituality or God consciousness, or when we even try to approach religion, one of the approach we all can have is the approach like this old lady, who is just asking the king from shifting the load from this shoulder to this shoulder. Similarly, when we go to God, we can say, "Oh God, I am very much in distress. Please help me. I don't have a job. Please give me a job. Oh God, my health is not good. Please improve my health. Give me a good health." Or we may pray, "Oh God, there's some disturbance going in our family. Please solve our family problems and let everything be peaceful in our family." So we may ask all these different kind of things from God, which is like, asking, it is just like the old lady asking to shift the load from this shoulder to this shoulder. Because such kind of solutions, when we ask from God, they are not permanent solutions, because these solutions don't solve the permanent problems. In order to ask for the permanent solution from God, we have to know what is the permanent problem, what is the major problem. Like the lady who was carrying the wood, she has to first of all know what is the main problem. The main problem is that she is first of all poor. Secondly, she is alone. She don't have any relatives, and she has to do a lot of hard work. So suppose that the lady says to the king, "Then my dear king, you are such a nice king, and by the way, let me tell you that I am old and I am poor, and uh, my children all went away far places. They are away from me. I don't have any son in my life. So you are asking me what help you can do. Well, I don't want any help. I just want you to become my son. I can just act like your mother. Hmm? Like that. I can have a motherly affection towards you. Then the king will start thinking, oh, see this lady, she is not asking me any wealth. She is not asking any, help for shifting the load from this place to that place. She is just asking me to be like her son. And anyways, the king will think that it's long time since my mother has passed away. I also don't have any mother in my life. So why don't to accept this old lady as my mother? Anyway, she is looking very loving and caring. I will get some motherly affection from her. And then suppose if the king accepts that lady like her mother, like his mother, she treats her like his mother, then do you think the king will just say goodbye to that lady without doing anything for her? If the king really understands that, she is asking me to be like her mother, like my mother, then the king, without even asking by the old lady, the king will do all the favors to the old lady. He will take care of everything. Similarly, when we go to God, when we approach Him, we can be very foolish to ask many temporary things from God. Like in Maharashtra, they say, Dhanam dehi, janam dehi, rupavati, bharyam dehi. Or in North India, they sing, Sukha sampatti ghar aave, dukh mite tan ka. They're not- So these kind of prayers are not very ideal prayers to God. They are very selfish prayers, or we can say very foolish prayers. Because one is not understanding what is the real sambandha, what is the real relationship to be established with God. If we just approach God and if we ask Him that, my dear Lord, I'm not here, I have not come here to ask you for this or that. I just want to love you and serve you. I want to have a relationship with you, my dear Lord. Then, if God is convinced that you are serious about having a relationship with God, then without even your asking, God will provide you everything. Correct? So the point is that very important point from this whole story, for us to come to this conclusion, we should know what are actually the real problems, and then only we can approach God for asking for the real solution. So if we approach God for temporary solutions, then God will give us temporary solutions, like the king will help from this shoulder, and the king will go. Similarly, people who approach God for temporary solutions, they get temporary solutions and nothing more. Then they get a newer and newer problems. So intelligent people, unlike foolish people, are those who try to go to the root of the problems and try to find out the root solutions of the problems. And they just don't remain satisfied by solving the superficial problems. Because generally, what happens in this world, many scientists, philosophers, even so-called governmental policies and everything, they all are there, but they can only solve our problems on a very superficial level without going to the root. Like once it so happened that there was one boy who was suffering from typhoid. So the mother took him to the doctor, and the doctor told that, see, this boy has typhoid, so don't feed him any oily foods. No puri, no pakoras, no kachori, no samosas, no oily items, no savories. So the mother was very cautious. Although it was rainy season, and in rainy season there's a special delight in eating, fried items. So the boy was really hankering for having some fried items, French fries and all this kind of things. But the mother was very strict. Mother told, no matter whatever you say, I will not give you any fried foods. You are only supposed to eat boiled vegetables because you have typhoid. And then at one day it so happened that uh, the mother has to go out for some work, for doing some purchases from the market, and the mother told the elder son, hmm, her elder son, that kindly take care of the younger son who has typhoid, I will come back. So when the mother went away, this younger son, seeing the opportunity, he started crying that I want to eat puris and pakoras and fried items. I have not eaten since long. So the elder brother and this younger brother was waving his hand. You know how small children, they wave their hand, they cry and they yell and create a scene. So the elder brother start thinking that, why the mother is so cruel on the younger brother? If he eats little bit oily food, what is going to happen? See how much he's crying. So the elder brother told the younger brother, my dear, Are bhai, don't worry, I will make some puris for you. Don't cry. And then the elder brother went in the kitchen, he made dough and immediately made the puris. And he fed the puris. Puris and with some nice oily items, some fresh fries. And by eating that, what do you expect? What will happen to a typhoid patient? If he eats oily foods, his temperature increased. He was not able to breathe also. He was almost as if about to die. And meanwhile, the mother returned. And mother asked, what happened to him? Suddenly his health went down. And then the elder brother told everything, that he was crying very much. So, I thought that I can feed him some oily food. So mother told, then what you did? Then the elder brother told her, then what? I just prepared some oily food, then some fried items and gave him. And the mother became so furious. She gave a tight slap, pat, to the elder brother. He told, you nonsense, you fool, you rascal. You have some intelligence or not? I told you not to give him any oily food. See what has happened to him. So you see, my dear friends, in this example also, apparently it may appear that the mother is very cruel. Is it not? That she is not giving any, although the son is crying a lot, mothers are supposed to be very kind to their children. But this mother is appearing to be very cruel. She is not giving any. But do you think the mother is really cruel? What do you feel? Is the mother cruel or mother is kind to the son by not giving him food? Yes? Anybody at least one, two, yes or no? She is cruel or not? Yes, Rajesh? She is not cruel. Naveen is saying she is not. Huh? Anybody would like to say she is cruel because she is not listening to the child? Satyendra saying no. Anybody else saying yes, she is very cruel? Yeah, nobody will agree that she is cruel. Externally, she will look very cruel because she is not giving what the child demands. But she is not cruel because she knows the ultimate benefit of the child. Her heart is ultimately for the good of the child. She knows that if the child eats oily food, his health will go down. On the other hand, the elder brother, apparently it may appear that he really wants to help his younger brother. He really wants to, serve him and be like a good brother. But my dear friends, in this world, only good intentions are not sufficient. You see, in this case, the elder brother has good intentions. He wants to make his younger brother happy. But are his good intentions good enough? No. Similarly, many people are there in this world who really want to help others, who have very good intentions. But just having good intentions is not good enough. If your good intentions are not with the right knowledge, then you will end up doing more bad to others despite having your good intentions. Correct? Like this elder brother having good intentions, he end up doing more bad to the younger brother by feeding him oily foodstuffs. So that's what happens. Therefore, our scriptures, when they talk about that, why we all are suffering in this world, why there are four real problems, threefold miseries, and all these things, the scriptures try to go to the root of the problem. So, as I described you last time, that the root of all suffering is sin. Correct? You remember? And does anybody remember what the definition of sin I gave? I gave one definition of the sin. We'll applaud for you if you really remember this. Satyendra saying, yes, sir. Okay, yes, but I'm asking the definition. So, yeah, Satyendra is saying deliberate disobedience to God. Very good. Very good, Satyendra. One applause for Satyendra. Thank you. It's not just deliberate disobedience to God, it is deliberate disobedience to God's laws, the laws made by God. When we deliberately break them, then that is called sin. And this sin is the cause of suffering. Just as, for example, government has made some laws. When you break government laws, you invite punishment. Similarly, we are living in the universal government of God. This cosmos is the universal government of God. So when you break any law made by the universal governor, God, huh, then also you invite problems and sufferings. Physical problem, mental problem, all different kind of problem, natural problems. So sin is the root cause of suffering. And sin means deliberate disobedience to God. And what is the root cause of sin? Who can tell this? This also I told last time. What is the root cause of sin? Why somebody may end up committing sin? Or why somebody may end up breaking the laws of God? Yes, anybody? Satisfaction and pleasure. Okay, that comes a little later. There's one more reason before this. Why somebody may commit sin. Sin means to break the law. Unawareness. So, unawareness, ignorance. Correct. That's the answer. Again, one applause. Thank you. So, ignorance is the cause. Ignorance means lack of knowledge. You don't know what is what. So, just like if you don't know, say, now during COVID times, the government is making many, many laws about lockdown and opening of lockdown, and various rules and regulations are coming. If you are not updated with the knowledge of the rules and regulation made by the government, state government, central government related to COVID, then and you act like a ignoramus, and you go out on the road and start doing something, then immediately you will be fined. Is it not? For example, suppose if you start going out without wearing a mask, then you are breaking our government law of wearing a mask. Is it not? So, because you are not aware of the government policies, that's why you break the government law and then you will invite a fine. Same way, when we don't have knowledge about the laws made by God for us to live in this world, then knowingly or unknowingly we break them, then we invite suffering. It is so simple to understand. You don't require to a rocket scientist to understand this philosophy. Just like you break government laws, when you are not aware about it, you invite punishment. Similarly, when you break God's laws, because of lack of knowledge about them, then you invite suffering. This is first reason. Second reason also, somebody quoted that, and one of the prominent reason why we don't like to know the laws of God, because we are selfishly driven for sensual enjoyment or sensual satisfaction. We want to satisfy our mind and senses, our eyes, nose, tongue, ear, skin, mind, without reference to God's laws. We want to experience pleasure in a way which is not recommended for us. We don't know. There are ways which are recommended by God through which we can satisfy our mind and senses. But when we don't adhere to these laws, then we break those laws to satisfy ourselves, and that's how we end up committing sin. Like that. So, this philosophy is very, very important to understand the root problem that, see, we are spirit souls, part and parcel of God. We don't belong to this world, we belong to the spiritual world, the kingdom of God. But being forgetful of God, when we come to this world and we are trying to, exploit the resources of the nature for our own selfish enjoyment, completely ignorant of our real identity, our connection with the Supreme Lord, and our goal and purpose in this life. When we live such a life without any knowledge or awareness about our connection to God, purpose of life, goal of life, then such a life is called materialistic life. Materialistic life means a life which is only has to do with matter, material enjoyment. It's not a spiritual life. And such a life is only one-sided life. So in my last talk, I talked about two kind of duties we have: horizontal duty and vertical duty. Horizontal duty is our duty towards duties of this world, towards family, friends, relatives, colleagues, your job, and many other things. Horizontal in this world, worldly duties, which we are all supposed to do very dutifully. But my dear friends, we should always remember that this world itself is temporary. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Dukkhalayam ashashvatam, that this world is temporary and full of suffering. So when the world is temporary, so everybody connected to us, even we ourselves, this life is temporary. So this means our horizontal duties are also going to be temporary. But then along with the horizontal duties, we have vertical duties, which means duty towards God. But unfortunate, and in human form of life, we are supposed to balance this horizontal and vertical duties nicely. That we do our duty towards God also and our horizontal duties also. But most of the time, it so happens that we only focus on our horizontal duties towards family, friends, relatives, job, career, all these things. But we forget completely our vertical duties towards God. We don't know. We never try to study Bhagavad Gita, study scriptures. Huh? And that becomes a one-sided life. And that's how we become sometimes very frustrated, hopeless, helpless, disappointed. Sometimes morose people undergo depression. They don't know what is happening in their life, and they're just tottered like waves, like a boat in the river or ocean, being tattered by the waves, sometimes going here, sometimes going there, sometimes happy, sometimes distress, sometimes sukh, sometimes dukh, like that kind of thing we goes on. So we should always remember that, our this current life is not all in all. It's only one of the lives among millions of lives we have taken before, and many more lives which are going to come in the future. So that's why the success and failures or the pleasure and pains of one life, we cannot take it very seriously. Rather, a genuine spiritualist, a real seeker of God will understand that. I gave example of a train journey last time. That just like when you travel in a train, many people sit in a train compartment. Sometimes you develop friendship also with them. But then as the stations keeps coming, people keep getting down on their stations. Similarly, when we take birth in this world, say in a family, there's mother, there's father, there's brother, sister. These are like people sitting in the same compartment. And as and when their stations keep coming, they keep getting down. For example, one station will come, grandfather will get down. Another station will come, grandmother will get down. Get down means they will pass away. Some station will come, our mother and father has to get down. At some station, we ourselves has to get down. So even our family members, even our duties what we are doing in this world, it's like a train journey. Train journey is only for some time. Even if we develop some relationship with these people, ultimately, everybody is going to go their own way. Same thing. So those people who are only busy fulfilling their horizontal duties of life without worrying at all about their vertical duties to God, which are actually eternal, they will be thoroughly disappointed sooner or later in their life. Like that. On the other hand, uh, you know, okay, I remember one more example I gave about the slaughterhouse example that you might have observed. I don't know how many visited a slaughterhouse, but I got a chance to once visit long back just to see. So, in the slaughterhouses, um, generally the traditional slaughterhouses, where a butcher personally takes a goat and cut, not like today's mechanized slaughterhouses. The traditional slaughter कसाई घर बोलते हैं ना जिसको हम कसाई खाना. So in that kasai ghar, there are many goats, but surprisingly you will find that none of the goat is bind. Generally, you tie the rope from the neck of the goat, but you will find that this Kasai gar, no goat is tied. All goats are roaming here and there, free space, and in front of them only the Kasai is cutting. And still the goats are not running away because they are very busy eating the sweet, juicy green grass. And they are thinking, oh, what a nice day today, so much green grass to eat. They are very busy, but they don't know that their turn is going to come, the butcher is going to catch and cut them. So that is called as animal consciousness. See, this is the difference between animal and human. Animal means what? Animal will see with his open eyes that here is suffering, here is a problem. But despite seeing with his open eyes, animal will not take any action. He will keep seeing. Like you have seen sometimes, like in my hometown, in my childhood, I used to go with my grandmother to purchase vegetables from mandi. Mandi we call mandi. You know mandi? Like in Hyderabad, you have this Raitu Bazaar na? Near Medipatnam. Anybody visit the Raitu Bazaar in Hyderabad for sabji purchasing? So a lot of sabjis are there. So sometimes in the mandis, some animals come like cows and bulls. They come, and the cows and bulls, when they are hungry, they immediately put their mouth in the vegetables lying on the shop of the vegetable wala. So immediately, what the vegetable person do when the cow is trying to eat the vegetables, the person immediately take a stick, and say, "Hey!" He beats hardly, strongly to the animal, and he hit on the neck, he hit on the head, he hit on the stomach, and then the cow goes away. But then you will observe that after some time the cow again will come. again he will get beating. The cow will again get beating. And then she will go from this shop, then he will go to other thela, other that trolley. There she will put mouth. There also she will get beating. Pat, pat. Then she will keep getting, the cow or the bull will keep getting beating like this, but they will not stop putting their mouth in the vegetable. They are not intelligent enough to understand, array, if we try to put our mouth in the vegetable, we are supposed to get a beating. They are not understanding this. So this is the definition of an animal. Animal means what? That he or she, animal, cannot identify the cause of his suffering. Although right in front of his eyes he is getting beating after beating after beating, he is not understanding, Arey Baba, what is the root cause of my suffering? What is the root cause of my beating? Why I am getting beaten? Animal will not have that intelligence. But a human being is, as soon as a human being means, suppose you go to somebody's house also, is it not? And suppose you are a guest there, and people bring some biscuits, some tea, some snacks, and they keep and keep in table. As soon as you see the biscuits and snacks, will you pounce upon it like animal? Like this? You will try to take all the biscuit like this you will try to do? No. Any civilized person, common person, he will wait till the time the host at least give an indication that, please take some snacks. Is it not? That's a very gentle behavior. So then only you will, and then also you will take one biscuit very hesitatingly. Or you will take that. Because that is human behavior. So the difference between human consciousness and animal consciousness is, animal, even he is getting suffering after suffering, he will not be able to understand why he is getting suffering. And a human being is supposed to understand why he is suffering. So birth, old age, disease and death is happening to us also and animals also. But animals will never try to inquire, why are we suffering birth, old age, disease and death? And if we as human beings also don't try to inquire why we are suffering birth, old age, disease and death, then you tell me what is the difference between us and animals? We are suffering miseries caused by nature, COVID is coming. We are suffering so many problems day in and day out. Why don't we seriously and sincerely inquire that what the root of it is like, suppose if you make a queue of human beings in a slaughterhouse and give one ice cream in their hand to eat, They're eating ice cream, and you take one human being and slaughter him. Do you think the other human beings will keep standing and eating the ice cream? Or they will say, hell with the ice cream. They will run for their life. That is human being. So this kind of, conscious record. But unfortunately, in today's society is called as the society of, cage polishing culture. You know what the meaning of cage polishing culture? There's a nice story about it. Once a lady, once a person purchased a very beautiful, cage with a parrot, with a, with a very beautiful cage with a parrot inside. Something like this. You are seeing here. See, there's a cage, but the man was so engrossed in decorating the cage, polishing the cage. See, he has got all this paints also here. He became so engrossed in polishing the cage that he completely forgot to give any food to the bird inside the cage. So much so that the bird inside the cage came to the point of dying because the bird is not getting any food to eat. See, the bird inside is struggling for the life. So this kind of what you are seeing here, that only polishing the cage but forgetting the hungry bird, is like pampering the body but forgetting the soul. So today's modern society, they talk so much about body, just think for a moment, how many types of cosmetics are there in the market, how many types of fashion industry designer clothes are there in the market, how many types of shoes, how many types of belts, how many types of hairstyles, how many types of everything practically in the modern society is related to body, and body alone. Nobody is worrying about the soul inside, the real person of the soul. So that is why even rich people who have a lot of money with them, who have a lot of resources with them, they have a lot of fans and followers. Even these people are also very sad people from inside. Externally, they may put a big show, they'll put a big smile. They will click selfie. But internally, they are very hollow. Mother Teresa, you have heard about Mother Teresa? Definitely you might have heard about. Very great lady. So Mother Teresa should say that in this world, everybody is hungry. There's a great hunger in this world. That is why my job is to satisfy that hunger. But then somebody asked, what is that hunger? She told that hunger is not the hunger of the belly. That hunger is not the hunger of the stomach. It is the hunger of the heart. And the greatest hungry people are these rich people. Because they are the most loners. They are the most vulnerable people. Although they have a lot with them, still they are not happy and satisfied. So my dear friends, when we only take care of the external body, in which the mind also comes, mind is a subtle body, we try to use all kind of external things to satisfy and decorate our body, like the polishing the cage. But if we don't take care of feeding the bird, what is the bird? The Atma, the soul, which are we are Atma, we are soul, we are that bird sitting inside this cage of this body. When we don't take care of that Atma inside, then that Atma inside starves, that Atma inside suffers, that Atma inside cries. And no matter to whatever degree you may give external situation, our situation will remain like a fish out of water, struggling and flapping for life. And that's why people are, unhappy. So that's what. So unfortunately today, modern education, modern society, modern culture, they only emphasize on very, very external things without directing people. Because the need of the Atma, what is the Atma? Atma, the soul, Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita. In the 15th chapter, Krishna says this shloka, Mamevamsha jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana manashasthani indriyani prakriti sthani karshati. Krishna is saying, my dear Arjun, Mam evansha jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatanaha. Oh, my dear Arjun, everybody in this world are my eternal part and parcels. Who are they? They are my eternal part and parcels. So the living entity, the soul, is eternally a part and parcel of God. It is eternally a child of God. And currently our situation is that we have completely forgotten our relationship with God. We are thinking that this world is all in all, this life is all in all, the people, the family with I am living is all in all. There's no life after death. There's no goal in life. We are living with such weird ideas. So because of such weird ideas, although we are struggling, Krishna is saying next line, Manashasthani indriyani prakriti sthani karshati. That we, with our five senses, the eyes, nose, tongue, skin, and ears, along with the mind, the sixth sense, the mind, mana shasthani indriyani, we, along with our six senses, including the mind, prakriti sthani karshati. Karshati means we are undergoing a great struggle for existence in this material world. The material nature is constantly trying to pose difficulties after difficulties in front of us, and we are struggling against those difficulties, trying to somehow or other make out in this world. But no matter how much hard you make out, my dear friends, we will never be able to find a permanent solution with a materialistic way of life until and unless we take to God consciousness very seriously. Because just like the fish belongs to water, if you take out a fish out of water, the fish will crave to go back into water. Similarly, the soul has come from the spiritual world to the material world. So till the time the soul is reconnected back to its original source of its existence, no matter what you do, you cannot find real peace and fulfillment of the heart. And that real fulfillment of the heart is actually love. Real love, genuine love, love of God. And that real and genuine love is actually received through God. Because it is God only whose love is completely selfless and uninterrupted in this world. Otherwise, all other kind of love in this world, they are very much motivated, selfish, and temporary. Only limited to bodies. Even lovers in this world, how long their love story goes. Nowadays, it doesn't extend more beyond their smartphones. Maybe sometimes very few may end up in marriage, but even if it's a successful marriage, it may ultimately end with the end of their lives. So, understanding that we, the spirit souls, are craving and looking for a genuine relationship with the Supreme Lord to whom we belong to originally, and trying to understand and work towards that relationship by understanding the spiritual principles, then we will be able to move forward towards uh, the real solution, the root solutions of the problems. Otherwise, we may say many, many things, but this will all be the philosophy of foolish offers. I'll tell one last story and conclude for today. Once upon a time, there was one great king, and this king was very opulent, very rich, very famous also. Only problem is that although he was very pious, the king used to respect saintly people, but he hardly has any interest in spirituality, in knowing about the true principles of God consciousness. He was too materialistic. He was living a materialistic life, enjoying the so-called pleasures of his kingdom with his queens and subjects. So one day, a great sage came to his Kingdom. Okay, my dear friends, what I'll do instead of me telling the story, it will be more better if you read the story yourself. So I will just share the screen, because then you will be able to understand it more nicely. Just a minute. Okay, you are able to see the screen?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. So I want somebody to kindly read the story apart from Paras. Anybody would like to volunteer?
Prabhuji, can I read?
Okay. Who is this?
Prabhuji, Swati.
Okay. Yeah.
Once upon a time, there lived a king. He had a big kingdom, many queens, lots of wealth, and hundreds and thousands of followers and soldiers. He therefore became so attached to his property, position, prestige, and status that he completely forgot God and his duty towards God. One day, a sadhu came to his court and wanted to enlighten the king in spiritual knowledge. But the king was not at all interested. The sadhu contemplated and made a plan. He asked the king to fulfill his one. The king immediately agreed and asked, "What can I do for you?" Sir, the sadhu told him,
Oh, just a minute.
Sir, the sadhu told him, "You send your men to find out the man who is a fool, murkha, in the entire kingdom. Call him to your court, hand over a stick to him, and ask him to go around the city. Promise him that you will pay him every month some salary for this service." The
You
king
can
obeyed.
reduce your speed a little bit so
Sorry.
that everybody is able to pay attention. Speed can be a little reduced.
Okay, Prabhuji. The king obeyed the sadhu's order and got a fool, murkha, to go around the city carrying a stick in his hand. Gradually, days, months, and years passed by. The Murkha continued to do his service. Meanwhile, the meanwhile the king grew old. Finally, one day, the king lay on his deathbed. He called all his relatives, friends, near and dear ones, and met all of them one by one. At last, the king called for the Murkha. The king told him, "My dear fool, now I have to go to a very faraway place. I am therefore I am therefore taking leave of everyone. So I thought of calling you to talk with you for the last time." The Murkha immediately replied, "O king, you are going to a far off place. Please, why don't you take me along with you?" The king replied, "O fool, you cannot come with me. It is not possible." Murkha replied, "Oh, now I understand the secret. You want to go with the queen? That is why you don't want to. Sorry, I lost the track. Oh, Murkha, you want to go with the queen. That is why you don't want to take me with you." The king said, "Oh, Murkha, you are proving to be a fool. I cannot take my queens with me, nor can I take my sons, nor any of my relatives. It is not possible." Then the Murkha said, "Oh, it is all right. Whatever it is, I will arrange a strong horse and a chariot for you so that you can go comfortably." The king said, "Oh, fool, I can't take any chariot or horses with me. It is impossible." Then the Murkha asked, "Oh, that means you will walk all the way? My dear king, if it's your desire to walk, it's okay, but at least carry some eatables and some money which you can use on the way. I will tell the minister to arrange for a big amount of money from the treasury." The king replied, "Oh, fool, you cannot understand. I cannot carry a single gold coin with me. Although I have so much of wealth amassed within my treasury, I can't carry anything with me." "Oh, fool, why don't you understand?" The Murkha said, "My dear king, you can't carry your accumulated wealth. You can't take your wives and children with you. You can't even take any property or food with you. It's a great wonder for
Okay.
me."
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Now, remaining paragraph, somebody else can read from here. Yes. Who is reading?
Guruji, can I read or not?
Who is that?
Guruji, Paras.
No, apart from you. Anybody else like to read?
Prabhuji, I'll read.
Who is that?
Priyanka, Prabhuji.
Okay. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. Then the king told the Murkha, enough of all your talks. Now listen to me. You have done the service of being a fool faithfully. Now I feel you should retire from your job. I would like to reward you pension without you doing the service. But you should find out another fool just like you. You should hand over the stick to me. Let him go around the city and and he can also be paid some salary every month. So this is the special reward that I want to give you before I leave this world. You can be relieved of your job. Don't worry. Then the Murkha asked, Oh, my dear king, do I have to find a great. Don't worry. Then the Murkha asked, Oh, my dear king, do I have to find a greater Murkha than me to hand over this stick? The king said, Yes, that's right. Immediately the fool took the stick and handed it over to the king and said, O Mahamurkha, take this stick and keep it with you. The king became wild with anger. He shouted, You fool, how dare you give this stick to me? Do you mean I am a greater fool than you? The Murkha laughed and told the king, My dear king, you are right. You are certainly the Mahamurkha in this world. Do you know why? You just told me that throughout your life, you you amass so much of wealth in in your treasury by conquering so many kings all around the world, but you can't carry a single I can't read this word, Prabhuji, after this.
Single farthing, farthing.
Yeah, okay. Single farthing with you. You married so many beautiful queens, and we got so many children, and you just now told me that you can't find. Uh, you just now told me that you can't take any of them with you, my dear king. Although you lead such a lavish life full of luxuries and comfort, did you know that the day of death is sure to come? And at the time of death, you will have to give up your wife, children, property, and all that you have accumulated. And did you not know that even a useless needle without a hole will not accompany you? Didn't you know these things when you were a king? You knew them well, but you were such a big fool and you never inquired about the goal of your life. You never inquired about where you are going to go after death. You didn't inquire who is God. Why has He created me? What is my duty towards Him? You never thought of these questions. When you were a king, you were completely infatuated in enjoying all the material comforts and facilities of this world, and you were completely blind to the path of self realization. This was your greatest mistake, and now, at the time of death, you are lamenting and moaning that you have to leave everything behind. So that is why you are considered the greatest fool. When the king when the king heard of this, he could quickly realize that this fool is really not a fool. He is a great, saintly person. The king immediately fell down at the feet of the so called Murkha, cried piteously, and begged him to reveal his identity. The Murkha told him, I am disciple of that great sadhu who you who met you many years ago, and you don't show any interest in spiritual life. So my spiritual master asked me to play this role to deliver you. Now hear attentively from me. In this way, the sadhu's disciple started enlightening the king about the knowledge of the soul and the relationship between soul and God. And the king understood how God loves every living being and how the ultimate goal of life is to purify one's heart and achieve the kingdom of God and not just get entangled in worldly affairs. The king became enlightened with his knowledge and he accepted the advice of the sadhu's disciple to start chanting God's name. His, he thus understood the goal of life and perfected his life.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah. So now there are some questions based on the story. I hope all of you have understood the story. Our friends read it painstakingly so much. So based on the story, can you quickly solve this quiz? Just 4 questions quiz, objective type. Just quickly, you can solve and send your answers on the chat. And just first showing the 2, and then question number 1 is, what is the purpose of saintly personalities visiting the homes of rich and opulent people? There are 4 options. You can choose one. Okay, so I am telling the answers. You can check whether you have find out the right answer. So for question number 1, what is the purpose of saintly personalities visiting the homes of rich and opulent? The answer is C, that saintly personalities are representatives of the Supreme Lord and they visit simply to enlighten others in spiritual knowledge for their welfare. So that's the correct answer, because those are saintly persons, sadhus, they are representatives of God. Sometimes when they visit rich people also, it's not that they are there to amass some money from them, but they want to enlighten others in spiritual knowledge. You remember if I told one shloka earlier one day from Srimad Bhagavatam, Janasya Krishna Vimukhasya Daivat Adharmashilasya Sudukhitasya Anugrahaye Vacharanti Nunam Bhutani Bhavyani Janardanasya. So this shloka says that those people who have turned their faith away from God, Janasya Krishna Vimukhasya Devat, and those who have become Adharma Shilasya, then such saintly persons, Anugrahaya, they do Anugraha, they do a favor on them by enlightening them about the knowledge of God. Otherwise, they will just, live in this world enjoying materialistic delights and will die one day without any purposeful end. So answer C is correct for the first. And for the question number 2, why did the saintly person made such an unusual request from the king to search a fool to go around the kingdom with a stick? So what the answer you have written? The answer for this is answer is B. B. The king was not ready to listen to the spiritual instructions given by the saintly person, and therefore the saintly person designed a great plan in his mind to deliver the king. So you see, my dear friends, this is very relevant because in today's society, it is sometimes so difficult to actually uh, reach out spiritual message to people in general in effective way, because people are hardly interested in spiritual knowledge in today's world. So that's why uh, like through our Gita Life and other platforms like this, our devotees like Paras is coordinating this program and many other devotees behind this. They have to actually think and plan many ways, make some videos, make some website, and some other try to create a platform where we can interact with people and we can reach out the message to them in effective way. So great saintly persons actually to try to reach out the message in that way, because people are not interested nowadays in understanding two spiritual principles. Hmm? Like that. So here are the next two questions. Question number 3. Why was the king considered to be the greatest fool? Mahamurkha. So please take 2 minutes and solve this question number 3 and 4 also.
Prabhuji, it is not visible.
The screen is not coming.
I mean, words are not clearly visible. It's blurred.
Oh, acha. Okay, so I will read out the answers. Why was the king considered to be the greatest fool, Mahamurkha? Because the answer is C. If you read, that the king wasted his entire life simply accumulating those things which none of them he can carry with him after death, and he never cared to make any spiritual inquiry. So why the king is called Mahamurkha? Because see, somebody whole life they work hard, to accumulate something, but they cannot carry that thing with them. Do you think it's very intelligent? For example, suppose if somebody tells you to take admission in a college where you should study 4 5 years, write so many assignments, clear so many exams, and they're saying that the moment you will get your degree, we will burn it. The day on the day of your convocation, the moment you get your degree, we'll burn it or we'll bury in the ground. Then would you like to go for such a college who will burn your degree or bury in the ground the moment you will get it? You will say, then why I will study in that college for 5 years if ultimately my degree is going to get burnt? Similarly, people in this world are working so hard to accumulate temporary things which they are not going to take forward with them. So that is very, very foolishness. And everybody in this world, talks about, we'll go here, go there, do this, do that, fly to America, fly to Australia, fly to Europe, we'll earn this money, we'll do this, do that. That's why today's topic we call it the philosophy of the foolish offers. Because such foolish people, when they speak philosophy about life, doing this, doing that, it's foolish. The material nature is laughing on them. God is laughing on them. You foolish people, you are making so many plans, all your plans are going to be thwarted away in this world. What you will carry with you? Like that. So what we learn from this whole story? Fourth question, what lesson did you learn from the story? A, B, C, D, what's the answer?
Again, Prabhuji, it is not visible. I don't think anyone will be able to answer.
Really, it's so bad?
Yes.
Now it is coming? Paras, bro?
No, Prabhu, no.
Still
No,
is
Prabhuji.
unclear?
Yes, Prabhuji. If you can read the options, I think that will be helpful.
Okay. So the question is, what lesson did you learn from the story? Option number A is, if you have lots of money and you don't know what to do with it, then the king was an ideal example. Just employ such fools to carry the stick in your trade. This is option number A. Option number B is, what lesson do you learn? Option number B, a saintly person or a fool is recognized only when they open their mouth. Therefore, we should never judge others by their externals. And the option number C is that the human form of life is specially meant for self-realization. One should not waste it in simply accumulating the perishable things of this world, forgetting the real goal. And the option number D is, one should not be a fool in simply accepting old age and death. Rather, one should use his power, wealth, and prestige to avoid death with the help of scientific advancement. So what do you feel which is the right option? Paras?
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Yeah, Prabhuji, you're asking me the answer.
Yeah, because if nobody else is answering, you answer.
Oh, Prabhuji, I think they have answered C.
C, huh? Okay, okay. C is the correct answer. The human form of life is specially meant for self-realization, and one should not waste it simply in accumulating the perishable things of this world, forgetting the real goal. Yeah, that's what lesson we learn from this story. So, my dear friends, from the story of Mahamurkha, we come to this conclusion that just like this king had a lot of wealth with him, a lot of facilities with him. So we are not saying that you cannot have wealth, you cannot have facilities, you cannot live your life nicely. No, you can have all these things, but then don't just live a one-sided life like that king, completely forgetful of any spiritual goal. Don't live like that. Try to live a balanced life, and for living a balanced life you have to be little more on the spiritual side, because currently our life is completely on the material side, on the one sided, only materialistic pleasures, no idea about spiritual life. And spiritual life begins by chanting of the holy names of the Lord, especially the Hare Krishna mantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So when we every day take out some good amount of time from our day-to-day activities, uh, and in the morning and evening, 15, 20 minutes, half an hour, then and taking out that time for chanting the holy names of God, then that's how we actually make spiritual progress. That's how actually we move towards spiritualizing our consciousness, mind, and senses, and preparing ourselves for our next destination, higher destination, spiritual life. Correct? So let's not live our life with the philosophy of the foolish offers, but let us be the real philosophers, and live our life based on the philosophy of the real philosopher, Lord Krishna, from the Bhagavad Gita. Correct? And his devotees. So I like to end here. Thank you very much. If there is any question, I can take for some time.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, one question was asked by Kaushal. In between, when you are speaking on the topic, he asked that even after knowing the rules made by God, some people still break them. For example, everyone knows killing is a sin, but still there are murders, rapes going on.
Yeah, my dear Kaushal, that's a very valid point told by you. That's a very valid point told by you, because that's why we are saying the definition of sin means deliberate disobedience to laws of God. There are some people who don't know the laws of God and that's why they break. They are also sinful. But more sinful than them are those people who, despite knowing everything, still breaks. So they will receive a special punishment from, they may escape the punishment by government, but they cannot escape the punishment by the laws of nature, because God is watching their every activity. And sooner or later they are going to be punished, without doubt. It's like, if a ordinary person performs a crime, he will be punished. But if a policeman or a government person who is supposed to protect the law, if he only breaks the law, then he'll be given special punishment. Similarly, those people who know the law, still they break them because of their uncontrolled mind and senses, then they will be given special punishment. So what you told is very, very correct. So therefore, the solution is that more and more propagation of Krishna consciousness is required. Like we are having such kind of programs here on online platform, even during COVID times. And after COVID, we have such programs in our centers. So more and more such kind of platforms are required, and genuine people need to come forward actually. A problem is known to everyone, but how many people are really ready to come forward to help the society? Hmm? So, and that's why we ourselves need to learn the right principles very nicely, apply in our life, and then based on our capacity, we should also try to help, contribute, come forward to reach out this message to as many people as possible and to save them from headlong going towards, hellish situations of life. So that's how a great, task is there in the hand of responsible people in the society to help society become better and, free from all this kind of problems. Correct? Yeah. And another very good angle of your question is that, many times we know what is right and what is wrong, but despite after knowing what is right, we may not have the power to apply what is right. So there are two things. Something is called as discrimination, and second thing is called as determination. Discrimination is a function of intelligence, which means to know the difference between right and wrong. So many people know what is right and what is wrong, but despite having the discrimination, what they lack is determination. Determination means to act on the right, to do the right. People know this is the right, but still they are not able to do because they don't have determination, they don't have the willpower. And therefore, this chanting of Hare Krishna is very, very important, because chanting of Hare Krishna develops your willpower, it develops your determination, it develops your mental stamina, it develops your inner core, which gives you that strength to take the right decisions, or make the right choices, although the temptations of making the wrong choices will be very, very strong. Especially in today's day and age, if you turn around the society, everywhere you look, people are breaking all kind of rules. People have become shameless. So living in such a society, we may also think that, oh, if everybody is going shameless, what is so bad? I will also be shameless. Everybody is doing bad, I will also do bad. Saying like this is very, very easy. But then it takes courage and determination to choose the right and do the right. And for that, chanting will be very, very effective. Hope that answers this question. Any other questions?
One question in the chat. Rajesh is asking how the soul goes to another body if the previous body has done mistakes. Punishment for them will be in hell, narak, or again they take another body.
Okay. So when somebody commits a sinful activity in their previous life, so for suffering the reactions of the sinful activity, for some time they will be going to hell, depending upon what level of sinful activity they have done. And after they spend their duration in hell, then they will be awarded new body according to their karma and their desires stored in their subtle body. So they will be first, uh, and even for going to hell also, they will be given a special kind of body. Yeah.
Ruchi, your voice is
So
breaking.
for now it's coming clear.
Yes, Ruchi.
Okay. So even for going to hell also, first they will be actually given a special kind of body for going to hell, which is called as Yatana Deha. Yatana Deha. Deha means body, Yatana means suffering. A special body designed simply for giving you suffering. That is such a body. In hell now, there are various types of punishment, such severe punishment that you will die only. Suppose if that kind of punishment is inflicted on this body, then immediately you will die. But in a hellish body, Yatana Deha, the punishment will be so severe that the pain will be as if you are death, you are died, you are gone. But still you will not die. You will not die. You will continue to live, means you will not leave the body. So just imagine somebody stabs you on the stomach. The pain you will feel as if somebody stabbed you in a human body, but in the human body the person will die. But in the hellish body, you will not die also, but the pain will be same. So that kind of body will be given in the hell. Those people who go to hell. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5th, in the later chapters, 28 types of hells are described very, very elaborately. And which person goes to which kind of hell, by breaking which law of God goes to which hell, everything is very detailed described in our scriptures. Some people, when they hear about hell and Yamadutas, they say, oh, these are stories we don't believe. So we say, okay, just wait and watch. If you don't believe, what to do? Even after explaining everything logically, you don't understand, then you wait and watch. So the point is that the soul, those people who commit sinful activity in the previous life, then they will go to hellish planets, suffer their reactions, and then
इंटरनेट चला गया ना? Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, you are not audible. No, still not. No, Prabhuji, still not. No. You're muted now. No. What happened?
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji, now. Now you're audible. Again gone.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji, audible.
What I was saying, I forgot. I was saying about the hellish
Narak.
body. So after
Yeah,
suffering in
Narakas.
hell, then the soul will be awarded a new body based on his previous actions and desires. It may be animal body or human body or some kind of body based on that. So in this way, the soul goes. Does that answer your question, Rajesh? Any other questions? Okay, so if there's no more question, can we end here for today?
Yes, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, one question apart from the topic.
Yeah.
My friend asked privately to me that he was asking that just now festive season passed by, he saw Durga Puja passed by, and there were Murti Pujan happened for of Durga Devi deities, and then they were flowed away in the river very harshly, very in a very poor manner. So they were first treating deities, worshipping them, and then suddenly they are treating like this. And he was saying the point that he see that other religions like Mohammedan this and Christianity is increasing in several parts of our country. But what is the scope? Like he sees that Hinduism is going down in terms of its spread across our country. So he was asking like why it is happening, and he was like putting his frustration in the question. So like what can be done, where we are lacking, this kind of question was there.
So there are two questions. The first one is about Durga Puja and Ganesh Puja, like that. They throw the deities in the rivers. So there are two things in that. First thing is that uh, generally this kind of worships which they do in Durga Puja and Ganesh Puja, first of all, they are demigod worship, which is very different from the way the deities are actually worshipped in temples. So there's something called as Nitya Karma, Namitika Karma. Nitya Karma means which is constantly goes on actually. The worship goes on regularly. It's not only for certain time period. Namitika Puja means which only goes on for certain duration of time. And this we will discuss in other sessions elaborately. Worship in the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. Three levels of worship. Generally, people who are in the mode of ignorance and passion, which means the lower modes of nature, they generally go forward for such kind of Durga Puja, Ganesh Puja kind of worship, where they have actually they don't have any devotion or love for that particular deity, but they are actually very selfishly oriented to fulfill their demands. So they do some fasting for the 9 days. Then they nowadays they put DJ and dance, and they do this. What do you say? They play na this with sticks. I don't know what you say it. Dandiya kind of thing. So they do all that thing. The whole purpose behind it is not to serve God, love God, or please God. The whole idea behind it is to enjoy on the name of God. And whenever enjoyment is finished, dump the God in the water. So that kind of worship actually is not recommended also in the scripture. It is mostly creation of some people from some ages. It is a trend which is coming, especially in the Vaishnava line. This kind of worships are not done. In the Vaishnava line, the deities are worshipped very, very gorgeously. Like you can come to any of our temples and you will find that how beautiful the Lord is served. Every day, 2 times the dress is changed, 6 times bhoga offering is done to the Lord, and a lot of elaborate deity worship is done. So, lot of love and care is given to the deities. So it's not like this. So there are different platforms of worship. This will discuss more elaborately in detail. And the second question is about Christianity is increasing, Islam is increasing, Hinduism is growing. Yeah, we should not be surprised when you say Christianity is increasing, Muslim is increasing, Hinduism is going down, because you have to ask the question what the Hindus are doing, so-called Hindus. First of all, this Hindu word itself is a misnomer, because there's nothing called as Hindu in the Vedic scripture. The Vedic scriptures tells about Varnashram Dharma or Sanatan Dharma. The word Hindu you will never find in any scripture. The word Hindu came from where? There's an Indus River near Punjab. So people used to live this side of Indus River in the Indian peninsula. So people on that side, near the Arab side, they used to call these people as Sindhus, because the river Indus is called Sindh Nadi. So from the Sindh river, people this side of the Sindh river started knowing as Sindhus. But the Arabs have a problem in reciting the word Sa. So then they started calling them Hindus. So that's how the word Hindu came. But otherwise, there's no word Hindu in our various scriptures, first of all. And secondly, even if we just for the saying purpose, we say the followers of Sanatan Dharma, Vedic Dharma, or even Hindus, you can say, are going down. So we have to ask the question what this so-called Hindus are doing. In today's society, so-called Hindus, they are only busy in, going to school, going to college, earning big degree, going to a big company, earning big money, and then, going to America, doing a big job in America and getting a green card and settling there. You ask how many people, are they coming forward to spread the Vedic Dharma, to spread the Krishna consciousness, God consciousness in society. So-called Hindu people, they call themselves Hindu. Once in a week, they go to temple, put some haldi, kumkum, chandan, wear some mala. They call we are Hindu, we are religious, we are God conscious. But what they are doing on the name of religion? They are simply selfish, mean-minded, and simply blaming others. He is like this, he is like that. Actually, we all have to ask question to ourselves: what am I doing for society? What am I doing for God? What am I doing to improve the situation of the world, situation of the country? I am simply sitting in my nice AC cabin, drinking tea, coffee, eating vada pav. I don't know what they eat in Hyderabad, maybe biryani. And simply turning the channels of the remote button, watching different news and commenting, he is like this, he is like that. So simply by questioning, I am concerned, nothing is going to happen. If we're really concerned, we have to do something, and we should know how to do, and we should try to know from those people who are at least making an effort to do. Let's try to be part of a solution, not to be part of a problem. Problem is known to everyone. Who is there in this world who don't know the problem? But how many people are becoming part of the solution? So what is required is to become a part of solution. Huh? So Hinduism or Sanatan Dharma or Vedic Dharma is going down because people are becoming more and more materialistic. Their goal of life has become money. Their goal of life has become sense gratification. Their goal of life has become to go to America, take a green card and settle there, earn a lot of money. Their goal of life is to become to show off their relatives how much big I am. So if this is the goal of life of people, then they are only name Hindus. They're not Hindu. In today's society, Hindu means there's no bindu. No bindu means I can do anything. There's no full stop. There's no regulation. On the name of Hinduism, there are 33 crore devatas in Hinduism. So people say, Jo karna wo kar lo, no problem. You make your own philosophy, do whatever you want like to do. Such bogus things are getting propagated. So how Hinduism will not go down? That's why we should salute Srila Prabhupada, who was a man from India, 70-year-old man, single man from old age, went all the way to America single-handedly with no money, no support, but took the message of Bhagavad Gita and spread the message of Bhagavad Gita all over the world, because of which today you and me are able to get. And Srila Prabhupada used to say that I am just one Indian, one old Indian, and see what I could do. And you all are young people, you are all Indians, young Indians. If you take this Krishna conscious message seriously and try to spread it, then what cannot happen? The whole face of the world can change, provided we come forward. But today's Hindus, they have worn chudis in the hands. Chudis, what do you call chudis? Ladies wear, no?
Bangles.
Bangles in the hand. They are only ringing the bangles, sitting in their IT companies. Yeah, they have lost their stamina, they have lost their vigor, they have lost their culture, they have lost their courage. That's a very sad point, actually. We are becoming slaves of Westerners, slaves of these multinational companies, slaves of this militias and yavanas, cow flesh eaters, meat eaters, and we are begging them, please give me money, give me job, give me salary. You're not coming forward to do something. So we're really serious. Let's take a step. Let's do something. Let's come forward. And in our International Society for Krishna Consciousness and through our Gita Life platform, there enough opportunity, immense opportunity. Maybe for Paras is a friend, you can discuss with him. He can share with you. So many plans are there to spread Krishna consciousness. So many intelligent people.
Because your voice is breaking.
So many intelligent people from IITs, NITs, from various educated backgrounds are coming forward to participate, contribute, learn, and expand the movement of Bhagavad Gita. So that's how that's how actually it's happening. And we cannot remain on the name of old people. Oldies cannot do anything. Not everybody is Srila Prabhupada. So young generation has to actually come forward. So we have to become little selfless. We have to think little bit outside our own self, our own families, because mostly people think about themselves or their families, not more than that. So if everybody thinks like this, then there is hope. Otherwise, yeah, problem is there and will go on increase. So we cannot blame anybody. Let's charity begins at home. Let ourselves come forward. Hmm? Does that answer your question, Paraspo?
Yes, Prabhuji. I hope he must have got answer.
Okay. Okay, so now it's 10:45. Can we
Yes,
end here for
Prabhuji.
today?
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your time, and we'll meet next weekend again. Another interesting topic. And please keep chanting Hare Krishna. And Paras, you can have with them even RC MNCs. Try to take their time so that we can chant.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hmm?
Sure. We have already communicated before also. But yeah.
Okay. Okay then. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila
Jai.
Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you, friends, for joining. I hope it was a valuable lesson for all of you. You must have understood something out of this today's topic, the philosophy of foolish offers. First time hearing the word, but yeah, the topic was interesting. So many stories we heard, wonderful lessons came out. Yeah, thank you so much again for joining, making this evening very lightning. We will again see all of you. We have only Kaushal, Abhishek, Satyam, and Rajesh remaining here. Thank you all for joining. Hare Krishna. We will meet next weekend, Sunday. Hari Bol.